Question 20, we're also asked to find the x-intercepts and the coordinates of the vertex for this parabola. If we had a graphing calculator, a handheld one, we could use that calculator to do what we just did, finding x-intercepts, which are also called zeros. We could also use it to find the vertex. But notice Alex doesn't give us the graphing calculator here. It wants us to do it in a different way. So that's another reason to have a graphing calculator, because you can use it anytime you want as long as you have it. Otherwise, in Alex, sometimes they want you to they give it to you, sometimes they don't give it to you. So this would be an example if they don't. So I'm going to go ahead and work through this one without the graphing calculator. And again, there's a lot of videos out there that can show you how to use various calculators. Casio has some good calculators. Texas Instrument, TI has a series of good calculators, and they will show you how to find x-intercepts and vertexes. I will show you how to do it without a calculator. So first, x-intercepts, that's the place where the y equals 0. Let's go with blue. So what we need is we need where this quadratic x squared minus 6x minus 7 is equal to 0. Now you could use the quadratic formula, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So that's x equals, that will give you x-intercepts, the x coordinates. Remember, the y coordinates are always 0 for x-intercepts. But this also is a quadratic that factors, and that would be, in my estimate, an easier way to do it. So to get x squared, again, I think of this as reverse FOIL. So putting it back in the can, so put it back into the FOIL it came from. So here's x and x times x gives us x squared. The negative 7 has to come from two numbers. Well, negative 7 is prime, so the only way to get 7 is to take 7 times 1. And now to get a negative 7, it means one of them is negative, the other is positive, right? Because that's the only way you can multiply two numbers and get a negative. One is negative, one's positive. The middle number here is negative, so that tells us the bigger number, 7, has to be negative. The 1 is positive. And what you do is you'd see negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. We would get x plus, or 1x, a positive 1x, and a negative 7x. When you combine those, you get negative 6x. So this is the correct factory. And then we set each of these equal to 0 because we're multiplying two numbers, x minus 7 times x plus 1. So one of them is 0. That's the only way you can end up with 0. And again, you always see, you might just notice you always get the opposite sign, right? Because you have to, negative 7 here, you got to add 7 to both sides. So when x equals 7, that's one x-intercept. Subtract 1 from both sides. X equals negative 1 is the other x-intercept. And it just wants them separated by commas. So we can put in negative 1, comma, we could use this one as well, 7. Okay. Now for the vertex, it's a little more difficult. It kind of comes, if you remember this quadratic formula, the vertex formula is easier. It's minus b over 2a. It's just this part. That's going to give us the x coordinate of the vertex. So let's switch colors. Let's go with vertex. So the vertex, the x coordinate, is going to be equal to minus b over 2a. And when I say that, a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c in standard form equals 0. That's how we usually do that. So the a is the number in front of the x squared, the b is the number in front of the x, c is the number by itself. So b is going to be, in this case, negative 6. So we've got minus negative 6 over 2, and in this case a is 1. There's no number in front of the x squared, so it must be 1. And so a negative times a negative is positive, so we get 6 in the top, 2 in the bottom, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our x-coordinate is 3. Let's go ahead and put that in here. And now we just need to find the y-coordinate, and the way we do that is we plug in x equals 3 to the original equation. So we get y equals 3 squared minus 6 times 3 minus 7. So notice these parentheses, these 3's, are just replacing the x in each of these. This will give us our y-coordinate. So y equals 3 squared is 9. 6 times 3 is, what, 18? And minus 7. Now going order of operation, we should go from left to right. So 9 minus 18, that's going to give us negative 9 minus 7. And then since they're both negative, you add them. 9 plus 7 is 16. And since they're both negative, it's negative. So vertex is x is 3, y is negative 16. And that's how we do number 20.